Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. And before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So now that we got that out of the way, let's jump right into today's topic. It's going to be another draft profile. I know I've been going draft heavy, but it's the off season, and that's what the biggest conversation is. When other conversations come up, I will jump into those, don't worry, but the content's a little bit focused on the NFL draft right now. And can you blame me? Like I said, mock drafts galore coming out. So Mel Kiper's mock draft came out, and he had the New York Jets taking Jedrick Wills, the offensive tackle from Alabama, in his mock draft 11th overall. He's 6'5", 320, has the exact size you would want from an offensive tackle, big, long arms. These are all positive traits. And another thing that I like, he's an extremely young prospect. He will be 20 years old at the time of the draft, 21 when the season starts, just like Quinnen Williams last year, just like Sam Darnold the year prior. I like taking young talent. I don't like taking 23, 24. Bryce Petty was drafted at 24 years old. He was basically needed a cane when he was drafted. But at the end of the day here, I think it's good to go on the younger side when you can. I'm not saying if there's a generational talent who's 23 years old like Joe Burrow, you pass on that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you have the choice, sometimes I like going with the younger prospect because you are paying him through his younger 20s instead of his late 20s, early 30s. But that's just my take on drafting and allocation of resources. Some of his pros, he's strong, he has great hands, he's really elite in pass pro, which is huge for the New York Jets because they did not have a good pass protection at all for Sam Darnold. They were okay run blocking, they were not great in the pass blocking area. Calvin Beachum was really the only offensive lineman that you could really trust. Ryan Khalil, we know at center, was not that great. On the right side, you had a turnstile, whether it was Shell or Adoga, so in a perfect world, I think if you are taking Wills, you bring back Beachum, have him play on the left, and then have Wills play on the right. The cons is that he is a right tackle. He doesn't play on the left side, or at least he hasn't yet. So if you want him to be your left tackle of the future, then you're going to have to switch sides. Also, I was reading a scouting report that said they think that he is better suited to play guard in the NFL, which obviously if you're taking in the first round, ideally, you want to take an offensive tackle, not necessarily an interior offensive lineman. But with the Jets' lack of resources on that offensive line, I really don't care what position on the line they play. As long as they are productive right away, like when you look at the Indianapolis Colts and what they were able to do in the draft a couple of years ago when they took Quentin Nelson, then that's exactly what I would be looking for and try to improve the offensive line. Like I said, whether he's playing on the interior or the outside, it doesn't really matter to me. His NFL comp was Jason Peters, who's been in the league for 16 years and has been an elite offensive lineman, that's specifically at the tackle position, for going on a decade and a half. So if you solve just if he whether it's left or right doesn't matter, again, doesn't matter to me, but if you solve an offensive line hole for a decade plus, like what you did with DeBrickashaw Ferguson and like what you did with Nick Mangold, you are in phenomenal shape. So yes, I would love this pick if I'm the New York Jets. I'm all for it if he's the guy at 11. If he's available, then sure, make that pick. My fear is that he's going to go in the top 10. That's my fear. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If he's available, do you think the Jets should draft him or somebody else? Obviously, we're going to do a lot more profiles as we get closer and closer, but this prospect was brought up in a mock draft from Mel Kiper, so I wanted to talk a little bit about him and why I think the offensive tackle from Alabama would be a pretty good pick at 11, and I definitely would be satisfied with that. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm Matt O'Leary. Talk to you next time.